So we're live. Let me see if I can catch it on Grace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome y'all to another episode of Purpose Driven Pivot. Mike, you able to get the situation straight on your end?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good now. Yeah.
cool. Well, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this episode. I have a very special guest with us, and I'm excited to talk with him about his journey, not just professionally and personally, but this guy here has been a young titan leading in and around Atlanta for quite some time. And I'm proud to call him not just a friend, but someone that I look to inspiration to sometimes when it comes to moving around. Me as an old man in Atlanta, Mike keeps things fresh. Mike keeps things exciting. And certainly when it comes to his leadership, man, we're excited for what he's doing now and the opportunities for things that he'll do in the future. I was telling Mike he had to excuse my appearance. I don't know if y'all see my face a little bit swollen. I got some teeth pulled. And so, Mike, I got a round head, man. So, hopefully it doesn't mess up the shot.
Nah, man, you good. You good.
Mike said you couldn't tell. You said you couldn't tell, really. So
Nah, I can't tell at all, bro. I can't tell, man.
It's all good, man. I see you repping the brand today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Young ATL. So this is, the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals. Current the shirt design. You can go to our store on our website to be able to get more of these products, not just on the shirt, but on sweaters, hoodies, mugs, things of that nature. So definitely had to rep the Young ATL today.
And be sure to tell people the website since you mentioned it. What is it?
So go to uoga-yp.org just for the main part of the website. You'll see at the top it says, you'll see at the very right-hand side, you'll see store, and that'll take you directly to our store page for you to be able to secure merchandise like this.
That's solid, man. Y'all got the merch booming.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what my folks say. But so Mike, like I mentioned, he's the president of Urban League Young Professionals. First off, Mike, let me say this, and I say this all the time. Anytime I'm somewhere publicly or just talking in conversation about the auxiliary group for young professionals here in Atlanta when it comes to the Urban League, I think it is one of the institutions that makes Atlanta Atlanta. You talk about the young, vibrant, civic, and serving community here in the city. A lot of former presidents, from my business partners and good friends to people that have filled the ranks of not just the president role, but been on that board, and a lot of good people that are leading in their lanes have come through that organization and still a part of that organization. And so I just think you can't talk about this energy in Atlanta without mentioning the group, whether you were just a member or went to one of the social functions or, in the trenches or are in the trenches with folks like Mike. Just so much respect for that organization. Shout out to the Guild, shout out to, the mothership, the Urban League in itself, but that auxiliary group, bro, is something that has really, really been a foundational touch point for me in even navigating and learning about Atlanta, for sure.
Well, I appreciate you, asking me to be on your show. Not even asking, allowing me to, because I know you and I had talked about it probably about a month ago about me, just what we're doing in Urban League, and you said, hey, it might be a good idea for you to be on the show, and I was like, really? I get to be on the show with Clay. I said, great. I appreciate it.
Man, it's the way you're pivoting, man. It's the way you're pivoting, and more so the inspiration and the message behind it. That I know people are going to enjoy because I want to get the origin story behind that leadership lane, and even professionally. Because I don't know if, for folks that may not know Mike is with the Atlanta Housing Authority here on the finance side. So stepped on move without Mike at the table.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, for people to learn about how you navigate and how you lead, man, I think it's directly in line with how we talk about pivots, the journey that people have been on during these times. And even when we talk about kicking off November with the momentum from October, and just an awesome guest. For folks that haven't seen the episodes, go to gregclay.com, Purpose Driven Pivot, to get those interviews. But I mean, just falling in line with those things, man, you're a perfect opportunity, perfect
Thank you.
guest to talk about the opportunities in it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mike, tell people about where you're from. I talked a little bit professionally about what you do,
Mhm.
but tell folks where you're from and how you got into this particular space right now.
So, you know, originally born in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. Born to my parents are immigrants from Ghana, West Africa. So, when you talk about my profession in the finance field, my dad's a CPA. So I learned a lot when it comes to accounting and finance related things from him. Um, we lived in Mississippi for about 5 years of my life, and then transitioned to Atlanta right before I turned 6. Now, I tell people all the time. People are asking me, "Hey, where are you from?" I always get that caveat. I was born in Mississippi, but Atlanta is my home, right? Because that's really all I know. I grew up here, raised here. A majority of my friends are here, so that Atlanta is always going to be my home. I just was just born in Mississippi, right, in Jackson, Mississippi, and even then, all my family have transitioned out of Mississippi anyway. So
And you witnessed enough of our teams losing and went through that suffering enough from the age of 6 to now, being a
yep,
young professional to
yep,
officially be in Atlanta. When you
yep.
suffered as long as you suffered, being a fan of the Braves, the Hawks, the Falcons,
Yes.
everybody, right?
Every single team, man. Every
Except
single team,
United, except United, right?
except United. Except
God
United.
bless the United.
I will admit when United won, I did shed a couple of tears because I was like, we finally won something in 20 some odd years. I was like, we finally got something. Finally got something after the Braves. So that definitely was happy about that. But yeah, so I grew up in spent most of my life in Gwinnett County. Went to Norcross High School. Um, Norcross Elementary, Summer Middle School, and then Norcross High School. Went on to get my uh, Bachelor of Science from North Carolina State University, undergrads in finance and information technology. Then came back to Atlanta. In all honesty, because I couldn't find a job in North Carolina. Just gonna be real. Like,
That's rare.
I really was, being very intentional about wanting to stay up there because, like I said, my background's in finance and information technology. At the time, NC State, the Triangle area,
Yeah.
big on tech. So I figured I'd be able to find a good job there.
And Charlotte still has a big kind of hub around the finance industry
Correct.
too. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. But in all honesty, I wasn't really thinking about Charlotte. I was like, let me, I knew where I was. I said that I think that will work, right? But when I couldn't find anything, I went back home, and luckily enough, my mom, and I love my mom. My mom's always looking out. So she actually reached out to a bunch of her different friends and said, "Hey, my son is looking for a job. Do y'all know of any openings?" And luckily enough, a friend of hers that worked at Coca-Cola at the time was like, "Hey, yeah, there's a temp job at Coke, and you have the ability. I know the hiring manager. I can get him in pretty quickly. I think he'll be a good fit." And I
Now,
was like,
how was that pivoted for you back at the time, man? You own 10 in North Carolina, ready to get to it.
right.
You got to come back to the crib, man. I mean, was it for you? Do I even stay in this lane? I mean, before you left North Carolina area, was it like, hey, do I switch this up and go back to school? Like, how was that decision?
I was really looking at it from a standpoint of, what am I truly meant to be in North Carolina? Right? Is it truly meant for me to be here? And when that opportunity came up, I said basically the answer is no. I
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, because you think you're talking about a Fortune 500, one of the best, one of the most recognizable brands in the world,
Oh, no doubt.
and there's an opportunity for me to work for that company, and work my way up into leadership, and other things, because I had aspirations of being, and I still do, of being a senior leader in some capacity at a company, whether it's my own, whether it's at whether it would be at Coca-Cola, Atlanta Housing, or somewhere else. The ultimate goal is I want to be in a decision maker. I want to be one of the ones that make the decision for the company, to ensure that we are doing what's best for the business and for our employees that work for the company, right? So when that opportunity came up, I said, well, let me take advantage of this opportunity, being at this large corporation and seeing where it will take me. And it took me pretty far, to be honest with you. It took me pretty far to where I worked there for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I had increasing leadership roles in the company, where, let's say, for example, one of them was I was a subject matter expert when it came to employee stock options.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So anybody that had questions about it, they would come talk to me about the how it works. They would have, if we had to talk about forecasting, I would be the person that would be in the room having those conversations with everybody to help them understand what the impact was going to be on our share price at the end of the day, right? Then from there, I went on to be a legal entity controller in the company, working on working with other individuals on very complex financial transactions, such as if there were acquisitions that were made, if we were trying to sell assets, things of that nature. Again, I would be the person that would be in the room having those conversations, making sure that everything was working properly, right? And I dedicate a lot of what I got, the leadership roles that I got to, especially the last two that I got to, it really happened because of the connections I made, and my most notably my mentor, Kathy Waller, who is a former CFO at the company, right? So being able to connect with her allowed me to get into these very unique roles that allowed me to really expand my knowledge of the business, and also have some impact on decision making efforts as well.
And so pivoting into getting your CPA while you were there, I imagine, how was it? I mean, how was that experience during that time?
So I haven't completed my CPA yet,
Oh,
but
okay, I thought you said that you, yeah.
well, no. So my dad's a CPA.
Oh yeah, that's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Well, we want you to get
But
there, baby. We
I
want
am
you
in the
to get there.
process. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
that was one of the things that I also looked at, is being able to obtain that certification,
Yes.
because that also would mean you have a designation behind your name, but then you'll be a bigger expert in really anything and everything that had anything to do with accounting, to an extent finance, auditing, things of that nature, right? So I am in the process of doing that, just haven't completed all four sections
Well,
yet.
we're looking forward to you getting to that milestone, man.
I
When it
appreciate
comes to getting that designation, as you know, and as a lot of folks know, that's really one of those things that are big goals for people in the space. It's almost when people get their JD and go sit for the bar and things of that nature, and
right.
start practicing. So we're looking forward to when we had you back, you talking about that experience, man. So that's cool to hear, bro. It really is.
So from there, and I think we talk about pivoting. One of the things that I noticed, and again, I had a conversation with my mentor at the time about leadership, right? Because at one point in time, I felt myself being stagnant in a company, because I was looking to be to get into a higher level of leadership, but there were certain things that I had lacked at the time, being to an extent leadership, right? I didn't really have a lot of leadership skills outside of being in some of these rooms, having these conversations, but they wanted to see my ability to lead a group of individuals, and make sure everybody's working cohesively and things of that nature. So, I sat down with my mentor and she said, well, there may be opportunities outside of working at Coca-Cola that you can utilize, maybe a nonprofit or maybe some leadership program that you can get into that will allow you to be able to, for us to see that you've grown in a way that will allow us to actually take a chance on you on being a leader in this organization, right? So I said, okay, well, I'm, trying to figure, I'm racking my brain for like maybe a couple of days, really thinking about, all right, so where can I go to actually get this, right? Mm-hmm. So oddly enough, I had a conversation with Chris Bruce. I forgot. Yeah, shout out to Bruce. Bruce is always that, that guy kind of plug you in. But we were, I forget where we were, but essentially that type of a conversation came up. And, I said, well, I had a conversation with my mentor, been trying to figure out, what to do as far as leadership opportunities. But then also, I've been in a space where all I did at that time was go to work and go home. Didn't really do anything outside of that during the week. I would hang out with my core group of friends, which included Bruce, on weekends. But Monday through Friday, or really Monday to Thursday, it was truly just going to work at Coca-Cola, getting off at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then going home and then doing that all over again, right?
Sure.
So Bruce said, well, what about the Urban League? And I was like, Urban League? I was like, what's that? He was like, you never heard of it? I was like, no. So he and I talked about it over drinks. And he said, I think it'll be a great opportunity for you to build your network. But then also, if you're looking for leadership opportunities, they do have leadership roles in there, and you can build your skill set while you serve the community. Because that was one of the things that got me in, was the fact that this is the organization that gives back to the community and allows you to grow at the same time. And service is something that's always been something that I've done since I was a little kid. It actually started with my dad. He owns his own CPA firm. So every year he would donate his old desktop computers to local Boys and Girls Club.
Awesome.
Right. So when I saw that, I was like, because I asked myself, so what is this? Why are you doing this? He said, there are people that don't have what you have. There are kids your age that don't have access to the internet, don't have access to computers, outside of maybe at school. And even then, depending on where you live, some schools may have more computers than the others, right? Yeah. So the ability to, so I'm just doing my part to kind of help even the playing field. Even if I'm just donating 3 or 4 computers, I'm still helping to make sure that the kids your age have the ability to learn how to use a computer, learn how to do these different things, programs and things of that nature. So
that's awesome to get that service lens from, or even that service perspective and foundation,
right,
from your father.
Right.
I bet he's extremely proud to see you kind of in your leadership lane, going off and doing those same types of things, man. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. I mean, he and I, we talk probably once a week, at least once a week, and he's asked me on several occasions, so how's everything going Urban League?
Keep you accountable. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I tell him, especially the year when I won Volunteer of the Year, I told him that, it was because of, and I said in front of a big crowd, I said it's because of him and because of my mom, but really because of my dad and his impact on me as a young man, with, making sure that you give back, because when you give out, you're going to get a lot back in return as well. Yeah. that was very, you know, I really appreciate my dad for doing that. And not just for me, but for my brothers as well.
Yeah, yeah, cool. So man, you're a young professional, man. You're in Atlanta making money.
Mm-hmm.
You feel this time in your career working at one of the biggest companies in the world that you find yourself a little bit stagnant. You got to go out. You're listening to your mentors around you. You got to get this leadership experience. You jump into the urban league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing what to expect. Got this heart of service, wallet full of cash. The city's yours.
Yep.
Tell us about that, man.
Um,
Because once you get at a place, and people that are watching this know, once you get at a place, it could or couldn't be what you expect, right? And so once you
Agreed.
get there and show up, and you're like, hey, what's this about? What makes you? Well, tell me about that first experience, but then your pivot into leadership within it is a different thing.
Yep. So when I when Bruce got me hooked into it, into actually attending, we didn't actually attend like a general body meeting or some big social event. It was literally, we were at a member's house. It was a Men in the Movement event. We were at a member's house, watching football, eating pizza, and you know, having maybe a beer or two, right? And it was literally just a more of a kickback. Um, Tell me about yourself. Tell me about the Urban League. What do you guys do? Uh, your impact and things of that nature. While we're watching, I think it was probably like the NFC championship game or something like that, right? So being able to not be in a space where, you know, I'm kind of forced to interact with people. It was more so just real casual, casual laid back experience. That really resonated with me because that's kind of my nature, right? I'm more of a laid back type of guy where, you know, I'm not going to be truly, like, I'm not going to really try to force anything, because I really want to make sure that the people that I'm interacting with, I get a certain vibe off of them, and I feel comfortable around them for me to want to be able to, you know, really open up and be that that guy that really goes to bat for people.
Sure.
Right. So once I had that conversation with them, I was like, oh, so I feel like this is what it's gonna be about, right? It's gonna be a kind of laid back. I'm still gonna get, you know, do service. We're still gonna be out in the community, whether it's you know, doing, I don't know, mentoring, really anything, correct. And in all honesty, I was wrong. I was wrong about what I was getting myself into, because even though I knew that, you know, I was going to be able to have a good time, meet people, but I didn't really understand what I would be doing, right? So from that point to when I actually came into leadership, the work load increased a lot. And the reason why I did that was because you know, after I became a member, so I signed up, pay my dues, became a member. Terrion Superior, who was the president at the time,
Shout out to TP.
TP, man, that's my guy. He actually reached out to me about 2 months later, and he was like, "Hey, you know, I want to have a conversation with you about something.
I need you."
Yeah, basically. And you know, are you open for lunch?" I said, "All right, you know,
You have no idea it's coming. TP's like, yo, I need you to feel. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
I really thought that it was going to be more so, hey, we have this event going on. Is there opportunity to maybe, you know, get Coca-Cola involved or something like that? I thought it was going to be like something real easy. I could probably reach out to whomever I need to reach out to at Coke to make that connection. No, it was really, hey, our current treasurer will no longer be able to fill her dues because she just got promoted, and she's not going to be able to do the YP, you know, the treasurer role and her job at the same time. And Bruce told me that you work in accounting, and you have a finance background as well. And he said that you would be a good fit for that role. And I was like, Bruce never talked to me about this. Like,
You said you text or nothing?
Nothing. I never got a text message, never got a phone call, email, nothing, right? So I'm sitting there listening to him talk.
And you know they talked about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. But so as he was talking, I was like, okay, I can either go one of two ways. I can either say, nah, I'm not interested. I just want to be a member. Or I could say I want to step up and actually do this job because again, we talk about leadership opportunities. That's what I was looking to try to really develop my leadership skill set so that I can translate that back over to Coca-Cola, right? In order to help kind of build my leadership resume. So so I said, you know what? I said, TP, all right. I'll do it. I'll do it because it seems like it's going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going to be managing the budget. I'm going to be also managing the finances to make sure that we have enough money in an account, that we're not overspending, and things of that nature. But again, I still didn't understand. Well, in my mind, like I said, I thought it was going to be straightforward. But then again, once I got into it, I was like, man, this is a lot more than I thought it was going to be. And mainly because just because you're in a leadership role does not mean that you should not also get your hands dirty with the individuals that you lead as well. Right.
That's awesome leadership principle, bro.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And
so it's interesting that, because so many young professionals are in this space of just going to work, doing what they're doing, spending money, right? Mm-hmm. Going to work, doing what they're doing, not in tune, not in touch, not involved, not plugged in. I call it driving through Atlanta to get to Wakanda.
Yep.
Just disregard all the issues of the city, and I'm having this beautiful time here rather than plugging in. And so first off, becoming a member and being president of the organization, that's a difference.
Agreed.
Jumping into leadership role, even if it's for getting your leadership experience cut to go back to Coca-Cola, it's still doing a service to the organization. And so, I think that's something that folks really, really have to plug into because if you don't get those types of roles in other places, then how else will you get it?
Agreed. And that was essentially how I thought about it was I'm not going if I'm not going to be able to truly get like a leadership role at the Coca-Cola company, I need to be able to get it from somewhere because in order for me to continue to reach my goal of being in a senior leadership position, I need to be able to show that I've done this before, whether it's in a corporate space, a nonprofit space, or again, if I run my own business, I still need to be able to show that I can do that, right? To anybody and everybody that we'll say question my my background.
Yeah. Good deal. And so you jump into the leadership role. You're now the treasurer, and you get into it. I mean, you the push and pull of leadership. People saying they're gonna do stuff and not doing stuff. People going over and beyond, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're leading in this very dynamic environment. Now it's the opportunity to potentially be the president of the group.
Right.
You're already getting the experience that you want, right? Yep. To be able to translate it back to corporate America and also be on the executive board of a pretty prominent group here in Atlanta.
Right.
The threshold rather to seeking a president role. Tell us about that.
Ooh, man.
And the president role is it's a highly touted position, man. You got some superstars that have served in that president capacity. Boy.
Yep.
I've never been a president, but I was one of those members, man. I was on the fringe kind of helping things get done because I said, look, this is a lot.
Yep.
But once you wear that hat in that organization, man, you're able to really, really, talk about the organization in a different light, as with any other group, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, I'll let you go and tell the story, man.
So, like you said, the president role for the young professional chapter is a highly touted role, highly visible role, and you're essentially you're going to be the person that's going to be out there that everybody's going to be looking at, whether it's good, bad, ugly, don't really matter. You're that person, right? And most people, they will be coming to you for answers, or ask questions about things that to see what your organization is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, when I talked about my character or my personality, I'm as you and I have hung out before. I'm kind of a laid back individual. When I turn up, I turn up. When I have the ability to get active, I get active. But my nature is really, I like to chill. I like to just chill and wherever I'm doing and just enjoy enjoy the scenery, right? So Shalondon Hollenshed was the president at the time. She was rolling off
Shout out to Shalondon.
to do bigger and better things. Shout out to Shalondon. She had a conversation with me, I think going to like the first half of her last year as president. And she was like, "Hey, you ever thought about being president of the organization?" I was like, "No. Where is this coming from?" And she was like, "Well, I seen how people, they respond to you. You're able to get people to really do things, to put in that work, and you have a certain aura about you." She didn't say that, but I'm just gonna say it. Had a certain aura about you that
leadership glow. You got this glow.
Yeah, that people just kind of gravitated towards. And I was like, okay, I appreciate that, but nah, I wasn't thinking about that. And she was like, okay, well, think about it. Just take an opportunity to take some time, think about it, and then you and I can kind of talk more about it as we get towards the end of the last half of the fiscal year. And I was like, okay. But then, and back when mom, like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing it. I've been treasurer for the last 4 years. I just want to kind of sit back, enjoy being a member, and just enjoy that part, right?
And you're still at Coke during this time, right?
I was still at Coke. No, I wasn't. Sorry, okay. I was. I had transitioned from Coke to the Atlanta Housing Authority.
Okay.
So this was.
I was going to ask about balance too, right?
Yeah.
So this role and then professional life balance.
So when I was at Coke, being treasurer, my professional life balance, it was pretty much on the same level. Like, it was easy because again, I was managing the budget, I was managing the finances, doing reporting, having conversations with the chairs about their budgets, and I also had the time to go in and actually help them out if they needed help with like going to grab certain items for an event, set up, breakdown, things of that nature. I was good, right? Being able to so doing that, and then transitioning to Atlanta Housing Authority, it was the same thing. So I still had the work-life balance was pretty even. For 2018 to 2019, the last year of me being treasurer, and I was like, okay, I think we're good. I shouldn't have any issues, right? So we go into the last half of the fiscal year, and again, Shalondon comes up to me and says, "Hey, I think you should be, I think you should really consider being president." And I was like, I'll think about it. And she was like, okay. She's like, that's better than last year, so I'll take that. I kid you not. Christopher Bruce calls me like 3 days later.
Man, Bruce is just Bruce everywhere,
man. And when he called me, I was like, why is he just calling me? It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, why is this dude calling me? He was like, hey man, you got some time to talk? I was like, all right, is everything good? He's like, yeah, I'm calling about you. It's not about me. I'm calling about you. I was like, okay, fine. So he said, so I heard, you've been asked to run for president. I'm like dang, Shalana, she won't let this go. She really won't let this go. So I was like, yeah, but I've been kind of thinking about, doing other things, transitioning to, other aspects of my life because, I'm trying to, my business, I ain't Black business.
What you want to talk about, we want to make sure we talk
yeah.
about too.
Possibly looking for another job, things of that nature. And he said, all right, I get all that, but look at it like this. You have the opportunity and the ability to lead 300 plus members in your organization. You have the ability to be that guy that can help to continue to grow the reputation, the brand, continue to recruit new members, and do all these different things as president. So you have ultimate control over all of that. Why would you not want to at least try it out and see how it goes? It's only for 2 years. It's not going to kill you. Just do it, and I think you'll be great. I think you'll be great. Like he kept saying that. I think you'll be great. I think you'll.
I know what he's doing, don't he?
Right. So I was like, man, this is. After I thought about it for a couple of seconds, I was like, Bruce he's the common denominator that's been pushing me to get into been pushing me to get into YP, stay in YP, and be a leader in the organization.
That's real.
Right. And I'm like, okay. I said, Bruce, man, we've been friends for so many years. I trust you. I'm gonna do it. He's like, good, because we need more men in this organization, and having you as a leader. I mean, outside of Terriance, outside of Travis, outside of William Bryant, outside of Otis, having you lead, I think this will be where the organization will pivot and move into a different light. I was like, all right. I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I ran unopposed, because, and even then when I ran unopposed, I asked some people, I said, did you think that I was gonna run? They were like, yeah, naturally, because we like you. Like we have so much fun around you. You're so engaging. You've always been a kind-hearted person. You treat everybody, the same. That we thought naturally you were going to run for president, regardless of whoever's going to run. I was going to vote for you regardless. I was like, okay, well, here I am. President of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta Young Professionals. And to be honest with you, I was scared out of my mind. I was nervous because, again, you talk about the prestige of this organization.
Big shoes to fill, man, for all those things that you mentioned, the brothers that have been in the role, the sisters, the dynamic sisters that have been in the role as well.
Like those,
like shout out to all the folks that have, really, really, and again, going back to defining that institution's role in the shaping, development, and excitement in Atlanta. I mean, it just, you can't talk about it without having that at the first tier of that conversation.
Oh no, I completely agree. Like those people, I had the opportunity to meet all of them prior to while I was treasurer.
Nice.
And the conversations I've had with them, especially Travis and William Bryant, those two have given me a lot of unfiltered advice.
Yeah.
William has told me, look, just be you. People will follow somebody that's confident in what they're doing. Travis has told me, be unapologetic. If you gotta fire somebody, fire them. Because at the end of the day, you're making sure that this organization continues on for years and years after you've already transitioned out of being president. You want to make sure you continue to set this organization up for the future. And you can't have people on your team that aren't dedicated to doing the work as you're dedicated to doing the work.
And you know what? I want to make sure that's highlighted in the conversation. Like when I talk about the organization, folks, and when Mike talks about the organization, you know, while we talk about the prestige of it and it being an institution, it is what it is, not because of just the people, it's because of the work.
Yep.
The work that the institution is doing, and how it has served other folks, how it has served families, youth, seniors, year after year after year. That's the essence or the other essence of the organization and why it is such a prestigious group, because it's serving people. And the work is not oftentimes pretty, but it's done in a way from professionals that's tight, it's organized, it's resourced, and there's this lineage of people that have made sure that Mike now feels that space is someone that's the president has made sure that it's always kept first things first about serving people and the work. You know, Mike, before we talk about your entrepreneurial space and pivoting into that, because I certainly want viewers to know about that. When we go back in the story around why you pivoted into the space, now even being at Atlanta Housing Authority and the role that you're in, how did a lot of that leadership experience tie back into now your professional space and how you're a leader now? And it makes you pivot into more things even in that direction.
So, you know, being able to, you know, manage a budget, being able to lead, you know, an entire, you know, team of 15 to 16 individuals. To be honest with you, working for the Urban League in the capacity that I work for, whether treasurer or president, well, really treasurer first, it led me to want to work for an organization that was also doing similar work, giving back to the community, right? So Atlanta Housing was never on my radar at all, right?
Oh, that's very enlightening. Go ahead, man. I'm intrigued.
So when I was transitioning from Coca-Cola, a friend of mine, Karen Young, who is now director of marketing at Atlanta Housing Authority, she called me one day and was like, just, you know, she said, I just thought about you, just want to see how you're doing. And I told her about, you know, the transition I'm trying to make out of Coca-Cola, or I'm making out of Coca-Cola. She said, well, there are opportunities at Atlanta Housing. And, you know, she told me about what Atlanta Housing does as far as affordable housing for those in the community.
Which is a huge issue.
Which is a very huge issue.
Huge.
We have a very interesting, you know, affordable housing issue in the city.
It's a fucking crisis. Well, I can say it.
Yes, it's a crisis, and
you can't say that. I can say it.
But we've been, you know, she said our purpose is to make sure that we provide that affordable housing option for people to be able to live comfortably, right? Because a lot of the homes here, you know, projects are not suitable housing for individuals in the city. And to be honest with you, and I know you know this, most of the people that are impacted are people of color, right? So the Atlanta Housing Authority has been there for years, for hundreds of years, to ensure that they provide that affordable housing option.
And it just burns me up, Mike, just to think about the missed opportunities in the space. And I'm excited that people like you and other folks that I know are there. And this isn't a criticism against, you know, other folks in the past or even, you know, former, you know, people that were in charge of the institution. You know, my frustration around it and talking about it in that way is because there's been such a big opportunity to do so much in that space. And for where I sit and stand in the city, we missed just so many opportunities to really help people. And
I mean, if you think about it now, you know, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms is doing what she needs to do to address that now, right? with the addressing affordable housing, which I think is great. And I think
Yeah, the ball has moved a lot under her watch, man.
yes.
I mean, from hires to seeing folks' talents,
Mm-hmm.
just having a comprehensive plan and a goal to fundraise around it, the $1 billion
Yep.
concept. There's a lot in the space that has been added, and it's no one administration who's, I wouldn't even say to blame. It's just that we've had this issue in our face, and when
Correct.
we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion,
Yep.
and the housing, issues where people live, quality of life within that, bro. It's just a pain point for me, and a lot of Atlantans, I think, and
Agreed.
we're not immune to it. I mean, we talked about, the Charlotte area before. A lot of major urban areas are dealing with it, but I think Atlanta, through, leaders like you, has an opportunity to lead. So I'm optimistic about it. But yeah, you were talking about how it parallel to.
Yeah. So being able to so once I transitioned to Atlanta Housing Authority, my the leadership skills that I developed has allowed me to be able to have we'll say hard conversations around financing and things of that nature with directors, my CFO, things whatnot around again the financing and accounting of how we're doing what we're doing at Atlanta Housing Authority. So I've been given a lot more responsibility as pertains to managing to an extent the finances or reviewing financial statements for the property management developers that we partner with that manage the affordable housings that are on our portfolio, right?
Mhm.
So I'm having I'm on these calls talking about their finances, trying to figure out having a hard conversation about why they're not performing the way they're performing, trying to figure out, what's going on and things of that nature. And it's really been, to be honest with you, Urban League has given me the ability and the confidence to be able to have those conversations in a way that I probably wouldn't have had them before
Sure.
when I was at Coca-Cola, because they look to me to really provide kind of the same thing with being a subject matter expert for Coke, but they really look to me to provide a lot of answers. If I don't know, then is one thing I learned is from working with Urban League is that if you don't know the answer, sometimes you just say I don't know, but I can figure it out. I can go do some research and figure it out, right? So that parallel between Urban League and Atlanta Housing was, again, it was something I really wasn't looking to, but when that opportunity came up, I really looked at what I've been doing with the Urban League, and I said, being able to also have that same impact in the affordable housing space is something that I want to do. And I said, I will take that opportunity, regardless of, to an extent, regardless of the pay, because I saw it as an opportunity to really learn more about the affordable housing space, and maybe even down the line figure out how I can continue to be a part of that, right?
Yes.
But that also, to be honest with you, that also went into we have this event called I can't remember the name of it. It says, I think it's not called Young ATL, but essentially what we do is we talk about the A to the T and the L. So affordability, transportation, and livability.
Okay.
I can't believe the name is on tip of my tongue, but essentially it's an advocacy related event. And when this came up, at the time, I think it was Jonathan Williams was our advocacy chair. We talked about, I talked about maybe there's an opportunity to bring somebody from Atlanta Housing Authority in to talk about the affordability part, right?
Good.
Because that's something that's very important to ensure that people and our members and those in our community understand that Urban League also cares about this part as well, because if people have a affordable house to to live in, they're paying a comparable, or what's that, not even comparable, they're paying a decent amount for rent that they can afford to pay. Even if they're not looking for let's say an apartment, there are options as far as down payment assistance and things of that nature that will allow people to be able to live in a home, right? Whether it's a townhome, condo, whatever the case may be.
And if you show people that path from a quality of life standpoint, it becomes real and practical to them.
That's correct. Yeah. So that was one of the things I learned from Atlanta Housing Authority perspective, is that they do provide, they partner with different organizations like Invest Atlanta to provide down payment assistance for people in the city of Atlanta that make up to a certain amount of money, right? So I was like, it kind of blew my mind as more I got into what Atlanta Housing does. I was like, wow, this organization does do a lot in a community, because they care. They want people to have access to be able to live in a comfortable space, not have to worry about paying $1,500, $1,600, $2,000 or more a month in just for rent, right? And they have the ability to eat as well, right? So again, utilizing Urban League to kind of make that pivot into Atlanta housing was huge as well.
Mike, man, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to tell this story to other folks. I know you get invites to talk about yourself because you're a celebrity here in Atlanta, man. But I don't know if you realize, you may recognize it on the playback, but the way you talked about, from your passions to your experience to your why to your pivots within it to now exactly where you are in Atlanta housing, bro, it's a beautiful story, man.
Thank you, man.
It really, really is. And I don't know if you told that before in that particular order, but the connectivity around that, the learning principles in it, leadership, and staying committed to serving, and how it changes your mind frame and your lens, even to how it impacts you professionally. And when you're there, because of that lens from serving and leading Urban League, you're able to provide even more value for what your ultimate goal is, to be that decision maker in leadership. Bro, I don't know if you see it, but on playback, you'll be able to say, oh, you know what? I see exactly what Greg talking about.
Some people will say, I've done a lot, right? In my 36 years of being on this earth. One of my best friends, Shalandra Young, will probably say, yeah, you've done a lot. But I think,
And Shalandra's watching. What's up,
Shalandra? Oh, Shalandra watching? All right, cool. What's up, Shalandra?
She's on the list. I saw on the list. Yeah.
I've been okay, so one of the thing about me is
now that she's watching, you don't have to switch up the show. Man. I mean, switch up the
show. So one of the things, when I talk about me being laid back, I'm also very humble, right? I truly am not the type of person that really talks about myself that much. Now, if I've been asked to be on shows like this, I will. But when I'm talking to individuals about just the ability, my background, I'm more so talking about it from perspective of, again, a service, right? Why am I doing what I'm doing? I give credit to other individuals for helping me get to this, get to where I am today. But I didn't really say, this is what I've done. I would say these people help influence my ability to get to where I am today, right? And it's helped me to get to this point when it comes to, Atlanta Housing Authority, or when I worked at Coca-Cola, or, we'll say in the future, wherever I decide to go, service has always been the crux of why I'm where I am today. And that will always be the case, because regardless of if it's with Urban League, Emerge 100 Black Men of Atlanta, the Boys and Girls Club, that's kind of my lens is, I want to give back in whatever way I can. As long as I have the capacity to do so, I'll continue to support organizations that align with my own personal goals and beliefs.
And never forget, man, your story, as you so eloquently told it in this time frame, man, it continues to inspire people that may or may not be in the space or are intimidated by it or even thinking of ways that they can double down in it. Because, of course, both of us know this from being in the trenches. The 80-20 is now the 90-10. You know,
Right.
you got 10% of the people doing 90% of the work.
Yep.
And we've got to be able to take a lot of the energy in the atmosphere, a lot of the knowledge on the issues that people are experiencing now, and translate that into action, into solutions. And through conversations like these, man, you never know who it is that you're helping, man. Because I know for sure, because of the feedback that I've gotten from the show in so many different ways and so many different narratives, in talking to people, I know folks are going to enjoy this conversation, even people that you know personally that never knew your story and how it connected, man. Before we wrap, Mike, I want to be able to have you talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, man, one of your new ventures that people can kind of look forward to before we wrap up, because I know it's important to you. So let's talk about that a little bit.
So, I'm sure a good amount of people know, but I am one of the co-founders of I Am Black Business, and this is it's a Black-owned business directory platform that we, myself, my business partner Joseph Guster, and Lee Lewis put together to be able to give businesses the opportunity to really market their business to other businesses that want to, utilize their services, and also to consumers, right? To allow those consumers to be able to pull up a black-owned business, whether it's on a website or whether it be our app, anywhere in the country, right? So, we've been in business for about 5 years now. But one of the things that we said that we're doing now is we're truly being more intentional about ensuring that the businesses that are in our directory and our consumers, they get more education on, especially the business owners, get more education on how to really properly market their business. We're putting up, we're in the midst of creating a kind of a niche market, where, so it's a couple of things. The niche market is going to be our other website called Black Sense, and the purpose is to allow business owners to place their products on the website for people to be able to purchase. Right? We started this last year, and it went very well because we found that a lot of businesses, we did through like the Amazon affiliate program. A lot of businesses were on Amazon, so we were able to kind of market those businesses and their products to be able to get people to purchase it through the Amazon website, right? We are in the midst of doing a Black Friday launch, relaunch of it. And then in addition to that, we've been very keen on partnering with Black Chambers. So one of our first partnerships was the Atlanta Black Chambers. And then I think the Columbus, I think it was the Tallahassee Black Chambers is another one that we partnered with. And we talk about leadership. So I'm actually now the one that's going to be sort of leading that effort. So I'm going to be having conversations, not just with Black Chambers, but with other organizations. Could be National Urban League, could be NAACP, whomever else to really talk about the significance of supporting Black-owned, right? But allowing those organizations to partner with, getting those organizations to partner with us will also help with the we'll say the legitimacy of those Black-owned businesses in, let's say, the NAACP directory or the Urban League directory, et cetera, right? So We've been very, like I said, intentional about ensuring that we continue to promote and market the Black-owned businesses, but also educate them as well. Because again, there are business owners that may truly only think that starting the business is the tough part, but technically that is hard. But the other part of it is being able to market your business properly, being able to continue to get repeat customers and things of that nature. And that's one of the things that my business partners and I are really looking to do, is to create that space for people to be able to market their business, whether, we do like banner ads on our website, whether it's banner ads on the mobile app, newsletter, things of that nature. We have the ability to do that for them. So that's something that, I'm really excited about. Been excited about it for a while, but being able to really, I think we're in a better place where we've been able to garner a lot of attention.
Good.
Some of it has, been due to, very bad situations, like George Floyd, Aubrey. But I think is, despite that, I won't say despite that, but it's unfortunate, but I think that kind of helped wake people up a lot. To want to say, you know what, we can't really depend on other people. We have to actually support ourselves. And when we did an SEO review of or analytics review of how many people search for Black-owned businesses, our name popped up, I don't know how many times, right? It popped up on Google Play. It popped up on the Apple Store as far as downloading the app, things of that nature. So just wanted to kind of talk about that and where we are, transitioning to, because we got a lot of good things in store. And like I said, that's going to be my contribution, is to make sure that the organizations that we partner with, they have the same mind frame and the same goals and visions as we do as it pertains to that part. So that's what I'm doing for I Am Black Business.
Now, I know I got a plug for you, Q1 2021, for something I'm going vertical with, and we'll talk more about that offline.
Okay.
But where can folks find more information about? Is there a website now, or Instagram, or social media?
Yep. So they can go to just to be able to see the website first and foremost, is go to iamblackbusiness.com. That is iamblackbusiness.com. Our Instagram handle is iamblackbiz with a Z at the end. If you want to, and I encourage everybody to go and download the app. It's I Am Black Business on the iTunes store, and it's I Am Black Business in the Google Play Store. Definitely download the app. It's a very, I'll say, intuitive app for people to be able to do a search based on their geolocation, and it will find all the businesses that are within a specific mile radius of where you are. If you see that the business has transitioned on to another location, or no longer open, you have the ability also to let us know. So I say that to say that this app and even the website or the directory in general is geared to make sure that those that are looking to support Black-owned business keep us honest, right? Because we're three individuals. We've done a lot of sifting through and removing non-Black-owned businesses, but again, we're three individuals, right? So we also encourage everybody that supports us, that anytime you pull up the app and you see that there's a business that isn't Black-owned, or you see that there's a business that's closed or they moved, send us a quick email. our app allows you to press one button and it'll pull up an email, or it will have our team email to where you can actually just send it right in and say, hey, this business is closed, or this business is moved, or this business is not Black owned, and we'll go in and actually make review it and remove it out of there, especially if it's not Black owned. We'll make sure that it's no longer shown on the website and on the app as well.
Good. Well, y'all heard it, man, in terms of the users making sure to keep the app honest, which a lot of apps are doing, man. It's awesome to hear that, Mike. It really, really is, man, that you've got so many different irons in the fire and so many different passions that you have and evolve into, where you've got these practical connections to working with folks to get things done, as an entrepreneur, as someone that's, in the finance space, and also as a civic leader. And so, man, it's been really, really exciting to talk with you, man. Can't wait to talk with you again in the future about, other things that you've got going on, and just do a status check as we continue to have these types of conversations. I'll be doing this through the summer of next year.
Okay.
But the opportunity and the stage to still have conversations with the network will exist, man. So just know that we're extremely proud of you, man, and everything that you continue to do. And are there any last thoughts, that you want to, give to the people, man, before we wrap up?
Yeah. So, as you know, here in the state of Georgia, we have 2 Senate runoffs coming up January 5th, right? The state of Georgia and all, especially the city of Atlanta, I was really happy and excited to see everybody that showed up to vote, whether it was early voting, mail-in ballots, or voting the day of. From that, you guys turned the state blue, right? That was big. That was big, right? So it really, from a standpoint of me being the leader of the young professionals of Urban League Greater Atlanta, like, that actually warmed my heart so much that I had to take a step back and just think about it, and just I ended up writing a letter that's going to come out pretty soon from the organization, just to thank everybody who partnered with, who supported us, but also to say that, again, the job is not done, right? There are 2 Senate races coming up January 5th. Our organization, we're right now we're going to be having conversation with our affiliate, Nancy Clay Johnson, the president and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, with Ruthie Prophet, who is the Guild president, and John Moore, who's director of the advocacy program for the Urban League, to really figure out what we're going to do to ensure that we keep people engaged, and making sure that they go to vote, but then also making sure that we capture those first-time voters, right? Because there may have been some individuals that missed the voting deadline for the general election. Mm-hmm. And there is an opportunity for those people to still be able to register to vote. I think by December 5th or something like that, so that if they miss the general one, you still have the opportunity to vote in the special election as well, because it's 2 separate things.
And we're going to be able to continue to work with not just people staying connected to vote, to stay civically engaged and civically involved.
Yes.
Through service, through the lens that you all are, developing. Again, shout out to Ruthie and the Guild, and for what you're doing with the young professionals. Like, people that staying civically engaged, is a necessity, man. Year round.
Year round.
Things where we know we got to check the box, but making sure that people use their voice, use their voting power, use their dollars, use their left and right, Tom and Jerry feet, use their arms, use their mind, all of those things that we can do in order to apply pressure and create leverage.
Agreed.
I'm glad you mentioned that before we got out of here, Mike.
Yeah, I'm. That was something that was on my mind, very heavy over this weekend, because, again, we want to make sure that we hold those people who are in office accountable. So whoever ends up coming out of winning this election, which I have my preference, obviously, who I think, who I would love to see in office. But at the end of the day, from the Urban League's perspective, as being a nonpartisan organization, making sure that people go out and vote. And like you said, making sure people are civically engaged, understanding what these politicians are doing, make sure that you understand their platforms, making sure that you also get engaged from a local level when it comes to your neighborhood planning units, meetings, your city council members and their meetings. Even to the governor, the mayor, anybody that has any real political was voted in the office. We need to hold everybody accountable, because nobody should take advantage of their role and abuse their power for their own benefit. They were elected by us, and they need to report to us, and then we need to hold them accountable. So,
yes, sir, leader. Yes, sir. My man. Hey, Mike, man, listen, man, I'm proud of you, man. Leadership looks good on you, man, and keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, man, I think that for what you've been able to do as a leader, your footprint here in Atlanta, your legacy here, man, this is just the beginning.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to everything that you'll continue to do and lead on, including everything in the civic space. So, I'm only a phone call, a text, or DM away, brother. So, we've always supported you, man, and got your back. But I appreciate you joining me, man, for Purpose Driven Pivot. You talked about a lot, man. Really compelling story, a lot of things that I didn't know, but it was great to hear that connectivity, and for other folks to see that connectivity for the other things that they might be dealing with or navigating through in their own lives. Folks, so thank y'all again for joining us for this episode. We had great folks attending. I know people will be checking the show out afterwards as well. And so for those folks that will be watching this after the fact, I'll make sure that for everything that Mike referenced, you'll be able to click the links and navigate to things that he's plugged into. Be sure to follow him as well. Where can people follow you, Mike?
So follow me on Instagram at Mike Lowry 84, and that's MikeLowrey. The Mike Lowry from Bad Boys 84. Instagram, that's on Instagram. Facebook is just Mike Lowry Twum, TWM. Make sure you follow the Urban League as well. So at ULGA_YP, at ULGA ATL, and at ULGA_Guild for the Guild as well.
GUILD, Guild, folks.
GUILD, yes.
You're not familiar, but hey, if you're not familiar, you're going to be familiar.
Yes, you will.
No doubt. Mike, hey, man, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me on this platform, man, and keep applying pressure and doing the good work.
I appreciate you, Greg. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, brother. Be easy.
All right, have a good one.